In this quick video, we'll be looking at how students can utilize Google Gemini as a learning resource to go alongside of any of the experiences you're doing in your class already. In this video, we're going to be looking at ways that we can encourage creativity and critical thinking, that we can evaluate AI and purposely build in some critical thinking around the bias and accuracy of it, and also build some time in to share what they're learning with each other. So right now I am in my son's Google account. So this is what a student version of Gemini looks like. The biggest thing you'll notice is they do not have access to image generation in Google Gemini. So if you ever want to do something with image generation, you can use Padlet or something called Adobe Firefly. But that being said, they do have access to this guided learning section, which is great. It will let them explore any topic and asks a lot of really good questions. And they can also just engage through prompts with Google Gemini. So some things that you'll get if you just tell kids to have this up and running alongside of them as a learning support is they're going to give things like this: teach me about, and then fill in the blank, right? Whatever that topic is. So that's not a bad prompt, but it's going to give them very general information. Some ways that you can really encourage creativity and critical thinking about this is to actually ask them to play different roles of individuals across moments in history. So if you're reading a book from an author, ask them to tell AI to play the role of one of those characters, or the author, or the perspective of some non-living thing even. So having them just utilize it as a teaching tool alongside of you can be awesome, right? So if I'm learning about linear equations, I need help understanding linear equations. It can be a learning support for those types of things, but something you can do that's going to promote a lot more creativity and critical thinking is giving it a role. So I'm just going to ask it, what are jobs where people use linear equations? And it's going to be able to, then I could take this and give it a role. Okay, so give me linear equation problems that are related to something civil engineers would actually do, or financial analysts. So we can do some different role play through this, and it's going to be up to you to promote that creativity in your students, right? So if AI could play any role we want it to play. It could tell the story of my day from the perspective of my computer mouse. But we have to tell it that to get that unique perspective, or that unique lens on learning. So encourage them to think about the different roles it can play. The other thing you can really encourage them to think about are the different formats this can put things in, right? So if I need a timeline history of a particular topic, I can ask for that, and it's going to, I wrote time history. That was bad. Timeline history of linear equations. It would be able to do whatever it is that I'm wanting to across that. So you can see AI is highly capable, but your kids' creativity is going to be limited by what they understand it can do. So the more that you model that and encourage them to think outside the box with the perspectives that AI can give, the more valuable the tool becomes as a learning asset in your class. So the other thing is really doing some critical evaluation of these tools. And a great way to do that is encourage kids to identify, where are these sources coming from? So I can see I've got two sources as links right here. Students can evaluate the sources where factual information is being pulled, and just by clicking into those links. So I can see this is being pulled from Wikipedia. Can I confirm that with another source? Another great way to encourage them to critically evaluate is asking AI itself to help them. Hey, can you find resources to prove that this is accurate information? And it will go out and try to do that. And then anytime a little link shows up, you can see where it is pulling that information from. So a lot of this came from EBSCO and Wikipedia. I can see this vision learning as well, but utilizing those links, or encouraging kids to utilize those links to validate and confirm that the information they're getting is accurate, factual, and what it should be. That's a really helpful skill and encourages critical thinking. The other thing, especially as we get into our humanities courses, with language arts, with our social studies classes, anything political, asking AI to grade itself on bias is really helpful. And then also encouraging the kids to talk about, like, do we think that this is a biased or unbiased response from AI? And also encouraging them to understand that it's being fed by a whole heaping helping of all the things that are online. Google does a great job trying to keep theirs safe, but it's still worthy conversation to encourage thinking about biases that might crop up in the responses as well. And that can lead to a really helpful and healthy conversation for just making sure that what you're looking at online is true, whether it's in an AI tool or not. So those are all helpful skills. Lastly, just encouraging you to, anytime kids are using this in a unique way um, in your class, try to pair it with a debriefing time, a conversation time, some of those things. It's not a bad idea, even if kids are just working on a practice problem set. Having AI in those times where you're getting 6 or 7 hands to go up, just encouraging kids to pull up Gemini and ask questions. It can be a learning support that makes it accessible for kids to get answers quickly. So it may not be an AI activity that I'm doing for the day, but if I'm seeing a lot of hands up in the class ready to ask questions, whether it's about a lab or anything, encouraging them to use this as a helpful coaching partner for whatever your activity is can be really good. And it can coach in all sorts of things: technical, subject specific processes in mathematics. It can be a great coach alongside. So don't hesitate to pull it up in those moments where you are getting a lot of questions and feel like, man, it'd be really great if I had an extra 17 teachers in the room with me right now. AI can play that role for you as well. Hope this is helpful. Think on some ways you could maybe boost learning in your class by letting Gemini facilitate or support learning for kids. Have a great day.